WWE introduced us to the Women's United States Championship, the first ever women's mid-card title over on WWE SmackDown. And I asked you on Twitter to submit a photo with whoever you think should be the first ever Women's United States Champion. Now, we are live right now on Twitch. As you can take a look in the bottom corner, we've got the Twitch chat with us. And this is for my 12-year anniversary on YouTube as a content creator. So we're going to do this in one take. Let's see how it all turns out. But before we begin, make sure you leave a like on this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications, and keep coming back every single day because we upload wrestling videos every single day. All right, let's take a look at the first one right here. That was heavily submitted by everyone over on Twitter. Michin should absolutely be in consideration for the first ever Women's United States Champion. Now, I do know that WWE announced that the Women's United States title could be defended on both Raw and SmackDown, so I'm not sure if we're going to get like a Women's Intercontinental Championship or anything like that anytime soon. But if there is only going to be one Women's Mid-Card Champ, it absolutely could be Michin. She has been crushing it. She has been taking over the women's division with these hardcore style matches, whether it be the match against Jada Parker down in NXT, or whether it be the dumpster match against Chelsea Green. She is crushing it with everything that she is doing. And honestly, Michin's been around WWE for quite some time at this point. Like, she was part of NXT Black and Gold back under Triple H, and so she should be in consideration to get this United States Championship. I think she could have a great run going up against literally anybody. It doesn't matter if you're a star or a rookie, she could get a great match out of you, and she would also elevate the title by doing those extreme matches like we mentioned. She will absolutely be a great first choice to be the United States Champion, and I hope it happens for her because honestly, she deserves it. Next up was a very popular choice. In fact, I think this was the most submitted person on this entire list. Chelsea Green. Samantha does it way better. Same with Michael Cole, okay? I ain't that good at it. Chelsea Green! Chelsea Green definitely could be in consideration for the Women's United States Championship. And I don't think I really have to do a lot of convincing here. She is incredible in the ring. She is so funny as a character. And there's very few people in the women's division who captivate the way that she does. Like, she draws your attention into you, whether she's winning or losing in a comedy bit, in a serious bit. She's been down on NXT crushing it. Her tag team with Piper Niven has been awesome. Everything about Chelsea Green is working. And so if you want somebody to elevate the mid-card women's title to like a whole new level, to be seen as like a stepping stone to greater things, Chelsea Green should be the first ever Women's United States Champion. She's a heel. She can cut microphone promos, sure, one take, whatever. A normal promo, as normal people call it. She can cut promos. She can cut everything that she needs to be able to get over with the crowd. There's absolutely no reason why she shouldn't be the first ever United States Champion. And like, just imagine if we get to unlock some of the stuff that she did in Lucha Underground or on the independent scene. Like, if we can see her go very, very hardcore in some of these matches, it might make the women's mid-card division the best part of the show. How about Candace Rae, though? Candace is one person who has been on WWE TV for quite some time as well, dating back to NXT Black and Gold under the Triple H regime. She has been very fun to watch, but hasn't really gotten a lot of opportunities on the main roster until recently. We've seen her paired with Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and especially after losing her tag team partner in Indy Hartwell, she needs something more to do. Now, I don't know if the plans are to book her long-term up against Nia Jax to get a women's championship opportunity, but if they don't plan on pushing Candace Rae towards the top of the division, why not put her in the mid-card division? Why not let her run with the Women's United States Championship? She would be a great person to kind of elevate the division. She's been around for a long time. She knows what she's doing, and it would just be a nice little tip of the cap to Candace Rae, you know, a veteran in this business who has literally grinded for years to get to this point. Getting an opportunity like that would do her wonders, and it would probably elevate her star power as well. So I like this idea. Candace Rae could very well be a United States champion for WWE. It's just, the question is it right for her to be the first one, right? I think she could elevate it just like anybody else could, but I feel like this would be a great moment for her to be like the second or third Women's United States champion. The first one, I'm just not sure if she's at that point right now. This is an interesting one. How about Lash Legend? So Donnie says Lash Legend has been overlooked for ages. She add new life to the SmackDown Women's division by being able to have matches and feuds we haven't seen before. And I definitely do agree on the last half of that she would bring some new matchups to WWE that we haven't seen before. But she is also still very new to WWE. Let's not pretend that she's been around forever. She's only been around for a little bit, and she's just starting to get pushed on the main roster. So if we did put the Women's United States title on her, it would help make her a star right out of the gate. There's no question about it. And usually when you have these new championships, if you put it on somebody who hasn't had that run yet, it makes that title run feel fairly important. I mean, all we have to do is take a look at Kalani Jordan down in NXT with the Women's North American Championship. Kind of unknown, was starting to get some good reactions on the show, and they put the Women's North American title on her, and she became a star. The exact same thing could happen with Lash Legend here, and she's got the size and the skill in the ring to be able to back it up and warrant being a Women's United States champion. So I like this pick, but this has to be my front runner right here. Nobody else deserves an opportunity more than Naomi at the Women's United States Championship. Naomi is a veteran's veteran. She has been everywhere. She's done everything. She's won everything, but has still failed to get herself over as a main event level talent. And I don't know what it takes, all right? The fans are behind her. She's got a cool gimmick, a cool entrance. She's great in the ring. She's got a different style moveset. Everything about Naomi screams main eventer, but they just don't pull the trigger on her for whatever reason. It's been a long time since we've seen her hold on to women's title gold, and this should be the opportunity for her. Can you imagine Naomi going through the rookies, the veterans, and just building up the legacy of this title, making it one of the most important things on the show? Hell, doing a Women's United States Championship Open Challenge. Naomi could crush it in that spot. Bring up some people from NXT to get an opportunity against Naomi. Bring in some veterans, some legends who haven't been in WWE in a long time. What about the TNA crossover? Could we then see somebody from TNA cross over to the main roster like a Jordan Grace and take on Naomi in a United States Championship Open Challenge? To me, this is the biggest no-brainer of them all. Naomi absolutely should be Women's United States Champion. Build up her star power again, build her up to being a main eventer, and then have her go from the United States Championship to the Women's Championship, because she absolutely deserves to be a main eventer. This could be the stepping stone she needs to get there. Bayley is an interesting choice to become the first ever Women's United States Champion, and the only reason why I don't think this is going to happen is because we just saw her recently be the Women's Champion, the main one on SmackDown. I think everything Bayley does touches, everything she touches turns to gold, but it's not her time right now. When I think of the women's mid-card title that is being introduced, I think of it being as something that is going to elevate somebody who hasn't had the opportunity yet, the true opportunity to become a star. Bayley's a star, in my opinion. Like, Bayley's a main eventer. She's already there. She should be involved in the top women's championship feuds, which she is right now. She's hovering around Nia Jax. I know that she just ran a program with her, but still, she's right around that main championship. And if she was to move over to Monday Night Raw, she'd be right around the women's championship over there. In fact, that's probably the best place for Bayley to go, is maybe go over to Raw. Maybe you could do a straight up trade with her and Rhea Ripley someday. I don't know. I'm just saying. But Bayley being the first ever Women's United States Championship, well, it would be a big deal for the title and it would elevate the championship. I just don't think it's the right person for it. There's far more interesting options at this given point in time. So let's run with somebody else. I'm not going to lie. This does look good on Kyrie Sane. The Women's United States Championship could very well go around the Princess Pirate's waist. Now, I think Kyrie Sane has been criminally undervalued in WWE. She has been there for a long time. She left for a little bit, then came back. But it doesn't ever feel like Kyrie Sane was given a true opportunity to run with anything other than just being in a tag team. It's kind of a shame, I'm not going to lie, because everything about Kyrie screams potential main eventer. I'm not going to sit here and say that she's a bona fide main eventer today, but if she became the Women's United States Champion and got a great run out of that, dude, we could be looking at a future main eventer in Kyrie Sane. We know that she can go in the ring. She's one of the best in the world, and it's very impressive to watch her work every single time. She connects with the fans. I think there's just something so interesting about Kyrie that we haven't leaned into yet. I think there's a lot of backstory that we could learn from her, and there's a lot of lore from Kyrie Sane that just has not been introduced into the WWE. So would love to see her as the Women's United States Champion. Again, though, this kind of feels like Candace Rae, where she could be a champion in the future and not the first ever one, but still would love to see it. Oh, you know what we need? We need Charlotte Flair. Bro, can you imagine the internet? Can you imagine the internet if Charlotte Flair is the first ever Women's United States Champion? Dude, people would lose their minds. It would actually be World War III on Twitter between the Diva stands and the AEW marks and the WWE shills and everybody in between. It would be World War III. It would be insane, and I kind of want it to happen. Can you imagine the heat? Now, we know Charlotte Flair is fantastic at what she does. We don't know how she's going to be after injury, but we imagine she's going to be back at the level she was at before, if not maybe even better. Charlotte Flair attracts a lot of attention to anything that she does, and if she was the first ever Women's United States Champion and she went on a heel run as United States Champion and elevated people with her along the way, it might work. I hate to say it, but it might actually work. It might make the Women's United States Championship feel like a freaking massive deal. She would put on great matches in the ring against pretty much anybody. I see no reason why they couldn't run with it. But again, the main thing behind this video and behind everything that we're talking about with the Women's United States title is that it should be somebody who hasn't gotten an opportunity before. And Charlotte Flair could literally come back and be right around the main title picture, and you know, everybody would be fine with that as well. I mean, not everybody would be fine with that. I think a lot of people would actually hate it because they're like, we're tired of Charlotte Flair, even though she's been gone for so long. It's an interesting idea. I do think that Flair could bring a lot of prestige to the Women's United States title, but it's not what I would do. This is kind of an interesting one right here with Shayna Baszler. Now, Shayna Baszler, again, somebody who's been in WWE for a very long time, and I truly believe that if WWE positioned her in a different way when she was called on up to the main roster and not being a vampire biting Becky Lynch's neck, I think we would have Shayna Baszler as a top tier women's champion. She would have been a women's champion multiple times over. The way that she was brought into WWE, she dominated the women's elimination chamber. And instead of people being behind the character and being like, oh my God, we have a beast, people instead complained, saying that it's the worst elimination chamber match of all time, and Shayna Baszler's push was halted as a result. I truly believe that the fans would have just rode with the punches from that women's elimination chamber and got behind Shayna Baszler as a heel, we would be seeing a completely different story with Shayna, which is a damn shame because I still think she's one of the best NXT women's champions that we have had to this day. Her getting a run as the Women's United States Champion would be really, really fun. I think that she could go in the ring. She could add a legitimacy to it. If you put the PFC around the Women's United States title, it could be a lot of fun. Again, this all depends on if WWE has the belt appear on both Raw and SmackDown, or if it's just branded to one brand, like if it's just a SmackDown exclusive title. If it is open to switching brands, the PFC with the United States Championship could actually elevate that entire group. And then we could start looking into the idea of getting the women's tag team titles on them as well and becoming a dominant faction in the middle of the card. I like this idea for Shayna Baszler being the Women's United States Champion. For the first ever one, though, I feel like her star power just isn't there right now, and the excitement factor wouldn't be there for Baszler. Build her up in a certain way, and she would be a great person to take over the Women's United States title in a little bit. This is another one of my favorites here. Somebody else who could very well become the Women's United States Champion. Somebody who has been there for a long time. And when I say long, I mean long time. I remember watching her come into WWE when she was Andrade's manager back at NXT Black and Gold, back when Andrade wasn't even the NXT champion yet. That's how long Zelina Vega has been around. She is great at what she does. I think she's one of the most underrated mic workers in the women's division, and like she's got that gift of gab. She has those comebacks. She's very, very fun to listen to. I think what prevents her from moving up the card is her size. Now, I've been screaming this for a long time. We literally have the female Rey Mysterio here in Zelina Vega. I don't get what WWE doesn't see with that, and hopefully they are going to see the opportunity that Zelina Vega has in front of her to become the Women's United States Champion. Everything that happened back in Puerto Rico, we saw the passion that she has. We saw the fan base that she has. Why not put the Women's United States title on her? I think she could elevate her game. She could elevate other people's game as well. And she could definitely make herself a marquee name in the women's division. Zelina Vega is an excellent choice to be the first ever Women's United States Champion. So many people would be down for it, and it would be that true, honest push that she needs to move up the card. Now, this one is interesting. Somebody submitted a photo of Nikki Cross. Now, obviously, this is not the current rendition of Nikki that we have today. The current Nikki looks a little something like, well, a little something like that. It's not the same person. But the idea of Nikki Cross holding onto the Women's United States title as part of the Wyatt Six is an interesting idea. I don't know if the Wyatt Six are ever going to go after championships, and if they are, it could be part of a bigger story at play, but the idea of Nikki being the first ever Women's United States Champion and bringing that United States title to the Wyatt Six could make the act very, very intriguing. I like the idea. Again, I feel like this is somebody that could capture the Women's United States title down the line. I don't think she's quite ready for it, nor do I think that the Wyatt Six story is ready for a title at the moment, but honestly, Nikki down the line, holding on to that Women's United States title, well, part of the Wyatt Six. Maybe the Wyatt Six win tag team gold as well in the future. Maybe there's a mid-card title that goes on Bo Dallas, and all of a sudden they just run the mid-card. It could be interesting. It could be cool. But yeah, Nikki Cross is certainly an idea that would generate some attention. Another polarizing figure here in pro wrestling, somebody who is very, very good at what they do and gets a lot of hate, but I don't quite understand the hate for it. Becky Lynch. Now, I know Becky Lynch is not currently on the active roster. She's away at the moment. I don't know her contract situation. I know it's a little messy at the moment. Whatever the case may be, I do assume that Becky Lynch is coming back to WWE, and I do assume that she will be a big-time player in the women's division. But I don't think it's going to be around the main event scene right now. I do think that Becky Lynch could very well come around the women's mid-card scene and just she could be the girl to hold on to the title and try to elevate everybody. Remember what she did down in NXT, where she was the NXT Women's Champion for a little bit and she elevated Tiffany Stratton as a result? I think we could see Becky Lynch do the same thing with the Women's United States title. It could be a way to bring up some NXT talent to go up against her, like a Jada Parker, who gets an opportunity against a Becky Lynch, and Jada Parker pushes Becky Lynch to her brink, to her end, and doesn't quite win. You know what I mean? That could make Jada Parker seem like a star. Or somebody else could come on up against Becky Lynch and just have a good showing, I think. I think Becky Lynch has the mic work to make the title feel important, and she's got the fan base, you know, to really make people take notice of this title. It's an interesting idea, not at the top of my list, but I do like the idea of Becky Lynch holding on to the Women's United States title at some point. Another really interesting one that we could actually see capture the Women's United States title, and this is Tiffany Stratton. Now, Tiffany Stratton is Miss Money in the Bank, but if we go through the history books of WWE, we've actually seen a Mr. Money in the Bank hold on to both the briefcase and the United States title, and that is The Miz. Now, I don't know about you guys, but Tiffany Stratton could easily have a Miz-like run where she is United States Champion and Money in the Bank at the same time. I think that it would make her character feel more important as a result, and not just a side piece to Nia Jax's character, not just waiting for the cash in. That would give her some good matchups. It would give her the ability to develop her in-ring skills, get those reps that she needs, and to elevate the Women's United States title as well, because there's no question that Tiffany Stratton is certainly somebody who WWE sees big money in. They see the future. They see her holding on to many women's championships down the line. And how could you not? It's Tiffany freaking Stratton, right? She is awesome at what she does. her holding onto the women's United States title would elevate it instantly. Imagine if she like rebranded the title immediately to have like a pink strap or something like that. And that could just, the gimmick that she could run with would be awesome. I'd love to see it. And Tiffany could very well be your first ever women's United States champion. When in doubt, call Natalya. I guess, look, I'm a Canadian, all right? Everybody loves Natalya here in Canada, okay? She is a Canadian icon, and she is one of the most undervalued wrestlers in WWE history. Everything Natalya has done behind the scenes, she does not get enough credit for. And so right here, right now, live chat, give me a W Natty, because Natty, she absolutely deserves all of her flowers, and she deserves all the respect in the world. So giving her the Women's United States Championship and giving her a solid run with the title, elevating some younger talent, could be a smart way to go. Now, I don't think it's the most interesting choice. It's Natalya at this point in her career. Nothing's going to really change when it comes to Natalya. You know exactly what you're getting. You're getting great in-ring work. You're getting solid programs. You're getting somebody who is going to protect their opponent to the fullest and try to make them better in the ring. That's Natalya to a T. She is excellent at everything she does. And what a lot of people don't know about Natalya is she is the one who trains a lot of the talent behind the scenes as well. Like if somebody's looking to tighten up their reps, if they're looking to be a little tighter in the ring, I should say, and Natalya is the person that they go to. She is great at everything that she does, and she's a future Women's Hall of Famer. So if you gave Natalya the Women's United States title as a tip of the cap to her to be the first ever Women's United States champion, it could be great. And also, who knows, if they did it as a heel, Natalya could run with it as she's from Canada, and maybe she rebrands the championship to the Canadian Championship. And the last one, which is a very interesting idea and a great way that could lead to her call up, Roxanne Perez going from NXT to the main roster and winning the Women's United States Championship. This definitely could happen. And Roxanne is so young in this business already, and she's years ahead where she should be. Like, she is miles and miles better than she should be at this age. She may very well be the first ever Women's United States Champion. Like WWE, if they have her lose this Women's NXT Championship and call her up to the main roster, day one, why not put the title on her, right? Everything Roxanne does turns to gold. And like, if we were talking about some of those other people, like a Natalya, like a Becky Lynch, like a Charlotte Flair, somebody who could go into this spot, a Naomi, somebody who could go into this spot, Roxanne beating them for the title would establish Roxanne as a star right away, and then you could just have her run with the championship for quite some time. So the idea of Roxanne being the first ever Women's United States champion seems like a bit of a long shot, I will admit. But her being Women's United States champion soon is not a long shot. It could be the direction, and it could be the way to call her up from NXT, and it would be great television as a result. But that's everyone who we think might be the first ever Women's United States Champion. Let me know down in the comments who you think could be the first ever United States Champion. There's a lot of great names out there, and with it being potentially on both Raw and SmackDown, it could be literally anyone. There's also trades out there, so feel free to have fun with it. But also, make sure you leave a like on this video, make sure you subscribe to this channel, turn on those notifications, and keep coming back every single day, because we upload wrestling videos every single day. Take care, everyone, and have a good one.